Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right out here in my lab. Wait, I'm in the book. We about to find out a question. What is consciousness? God is consciousness. What thought God would know? Pay attention. You might learn something. Let's go. Rightisms. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's always a message in my stories for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in to receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get that together. So I asked the question: It's pretty remarkable. Do you know you? You will when I get through. Pay attention. That's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you know how to answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm your spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right? They can know that self and to my God be true. All right. The question is, P-Funk's philosophy asks the question, what is consciousness? I like to ask a question and then I'm gonna being a teacher, I want to answer it for you. God is consciousness. Well, now that I made the statement, can you prove it? Yep. Pay attention. Let's go. The teacher's on duty. Better hear me good. That's right. I'm about to do what I do. Enlighten you. Consciousness is what we call the primordial state of existence. As referred to in Egyptian and even in the Indian mythology, we call it pure consciousness, or the primeval waters are considered to be unformed matter, the self, God, aka pure consciousness. Pay attention, God dog it. Pure consciousness is the stuff of which everything physical objects is composed and is also the origin of the subtle matter of which thoughts are composed. We know now that the molecules and atoms, we know about all that now. That wasn't a concept for the ancients. We understood it. So now, in the same way that modern physics, I love it, has discovered the same underlying basis that's behind all matter, we know it to be what? Energy. God is three things: energy, frequency, and vibration. Seer, seen, and but the sight. Everything in this three, Trinity. That's how complete. But to start out, you're gonna have what? One becomes three. Why? Because you got to add two other things to make it work. So the sages, I put my hat on purposely for this lesson. The sages of ancient times, and they've been around a long time. I'm just another link in the chain doing what I do. Discovered that there is a one underlying substance that we know pure consciousness, aka all omniscience, all knowing, all whatever y'all want to call it, but we call it pure conscious. He's pure conscious. Like I'm pure real, he's pure conscious. Bam. But that's what's behind all things in matter. Thoughts and energy. Again, there we go, etc. But the primeval waters is a symbol of pure consciousness, that's God, as unmodified, unconditioned existence. It's a whole bunch of things, but nothing at the same time. That dot potentially anything, but at the same time, nothing. Feel me? So we call it the unformed substance that has yet to been modified or conditioned into any particular form or another. It's just there. We call it, some people, the watery abyss. We call it the Nunu. Okay. Now, through the process of what? Thought, emotions, action. They create something that's unbreakable. These things are still standing. And thought consciousness is able now to become whatever it desires. If you can conceive it, you can achieve it. We say a whole bunch of good stuff, but we don't know what it means. If you understood it, then you can practice it, you can use it. Having a tool, don't know how it works, don't do you no good. Having knowledge that you don't understand, it don't do you no good. Understanding knowledge, that way you can use it. That's the power that's within what knowledge. So that is to take on any form by the power of, again, energy, frequency. The form is what? Vibration. Ding, 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 ding. Energy, frequency, and vibration. And vibration is what causes the ripples in consciousness. And these ripples are what constitute movement, shape, colors, dimensions, sound, light, etc. Something's starting to happen. They call it the Big Bang, okay, or the beginning. However you look at it, Genesis, whatever. But that's what's going on. And when you go to sleep, this is a perfect example about God. At the beginning, there is no dream. There's only unconditioned thoughts, unformed consciousness. Now, after some time, the subtle matter of your consciousness differentiates itself into what? Varied forms and circumstances, feelings, etc. Stuff is starting to take place. Stuff is done as a process. So now, when you go into your dream state, in the same manner that the universe has arisen out of the divine consciousness, the self, aka God, in the primordial state, there is only the self, pure consciousness, God. So there is not even a thought about anything other than God itself, consciousness, upon the emergence of the first what? Thought. Immediately now there is something besides what? The self, aka God, in objectified form. Like, I ain't gonna give it away. Pay attention. I'm teaching, roll with me. So now there is, alongside, wait a minute, there is experience of what we know what? What's this? What's this? Duality. Duality. You got pairs, opposites. That's what Maya represents. Okay, when I hear anybody say balance, I'll go right to Maya. I hear duality, right to Maya. Like, and who's on first? What's on second? I don't know. Third base. When I hear, I don't know. Third base. Who's on first? All right. So it's an understanding. But watch this. This is the good stuff. The first thought, immediately now, there is something beside the self in an objectified form where there is no experience of duality and of the triad. Why? Because the self can now perceive something alongside itself, and it only through illusion that the self is able to see something what? Other, as in it other than itself. There's an opposite going on here. But now if it's like stepping in front of a mirror, perfect example, or a camera, okay? I see myself. I can see myself. I know me. I'm here, but I'm also there. Okay. But it's like stepping in the mirror. But prior to stepping in front of the mirror, there is just what? You, the self, by itself. But afterwards, now both you and your reflection, get the concept? So you and the reflection are what? In reality, just one and the same. Now you get the concept, but through the appearance of two separate entities, because the mirror shows a reflection. So the same process operates in your dream, in the mind. Watch this. At first, there's only you. And from your consciousness emerges what we call the dream world. You create in your own mind. This is what God did with the universe. That's the concept. So now your dream in all objects and all personality in situations, etc., in that dream is all caused by you. In order for this to be possible, there must be a triad, meaning what? The pyramid concept. Seer, seen, and sight, or subject, object, and interacting medium, like the caduceus, the two mortality, Aset, Neptat, going up, Asar, the one minor, the one intermediate, makes them go together. All right, that's one of the concepts that y'all still use to today. The two serpents going up the staff, caduceus they call it. But this is the concept of the three. But this is the function of one's mind. That's it. Boy, I don't know if I should be proud or embarrassed. 30 years, I figured it out. They talking about the mind. They breaking it down for you. It allows the illusion of the triad to exist. Why? However, each element, again, which comes from the one of the objectified form, is composed of the same self, aka the one, in all material. The material out of which dreams and waking consciousness arises is one and the same. Sages have discovered what? That pure consciousness is God. And that's the underlying basis of human mind in all of its states. Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great, mean he's great on the physical, the astral, and the causal plane. That means he's conscious. That's what you want to be on every level. Hello. And when thoughts arise in your mind, consciousness takes and identifies with the various forms. Once you set your identification, that's called the ego. Watch this. We get to that in 1 minute. But at this time, God is said to have created him or herself in the form of that which is created, but in the same way as a person consciousness takes on forms in their dream. So I keep telling you, we're in God's dream. He's dreaming this, but he's letting everybody have their free will to do and be as they please, to get back to him. Why? The spirit is on loan. He wants it back. There's a string attached to this thing. And when you do your thing, he can make your thing and pull it back like he ought to, bring you home and be one with him again. But when your consciousness, this is the part right here, your consciousness becomes something. Here comes the ego. Anything from the grossest form up to the subtlest, from a tree, a rock, the planets, and even human bodies, air, radiation, etc., then it is said to have been created a physical object. In this manner, creation is what? Created who? The self. Seemingly no longer simply just exists in complete peace and stillness. No. So now when the self enlivens a physical body, when the spirit comes into physical existence, human existence, what happened? Such as even in the animal, in the plant, or more importantly, the human body, with this soul, this spirit from the higher consciousness, then it is said to have been what? Living. You have life. That spirit, that's life. But God is also the conscious. And when the self becomes involved with the thoughts, and now in human form, it forgets itself. That's when consciousness becomes human. That's when the ego steps in and says, I got this. You know, watch this. So it forgets itself. So right thinking, that is the subject right here. Then this process is called identification, self-identification. And Carl Jung took it to the next level, called it self-validation. Once you know who you are, you can validate yourself. You don't need nobody else's approval. That's between you and God. That's becoming conscious. That's becoming your individual conscious with all conscious. That's God. Because me and Plainer, is you getting this? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I'm feeling good about this. I'm hoping I'm making the point across. And watch this. So the self, aka again, God, which was pure consciousness, again, has now become human and involved in thoughts through a process of seemingly becoming ignorant of itself. of its true real self. That's the human form. That's because the ego done stepped in now. The purity of God has got caught up in what? Itself. That what? The ego done took over. That's why you got to supplant the ego to get to your true self and your real nature. Now, this is the true beginning in which leads one to the emergence of your individual soul, aka the ego, or focus of one's consciousness on your lower self. Ding, 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 ding. Therein lies the ego. Your soul may be thought of as a ray of consciousness, while the universal consciousness is like the sun. We getting it from God. Yeah, we know that some spirit comes all of that's the concept. And Akhenaten had the sun rays coming down with hands and fingers on it, touching everybody. Okay, that's what it represents. But your idea of becoming one with God is your ability to what? Overcome. In your spirit and your consciousness in the human form is overcome by the human desires of one's egos to have experiences. What? The self now is a what? Individual. I, me, ego. The self that may turn into the ego beast. It's in the physical form. It is the beast. Lower nature. Play with me, stay with me, excuse me. And your individual ray, your individual spirit, soul is now unaware of its true self. It's being led astray by what? The ego self. Now you become caught up in as if blinded by what? Your desires of the flesh, material things. That's what the ego wants. That's what the ego thrives on. That's why we're here to what? Get past that. So in the biblical story, creation story, they tell you when God created Adam and Eve, pay attention, this is good stuff, and I don't have a problem with it. Male and female, he made them. It was a way of saying that now there is differentiation. We got Maya, male and female, opposites, okay? Now, in consciousness, they didn't think of themselves as individuals. That's watch this. So now Adam and Eve were tempted by the serpent, aka that ego, to what? Eat the fruit from which they had been forbidden. We as parents, every time we tell our children, don't do that, they will. They will. It's human nature. And they had that figured out too. Watch this. When you touch that fire that we tell you to burn you, I ain't got to tell you but once. And you find out for yourself. You didn't listen to me. You find out on your own. So, yeah, I tried to warn you. So that was God's idea. So keep man under his guidance, so to speak. Watch this. So now, if he forbid them prior to eating from the tree of what? Knowledge of what? Good and evil. When you got single-minded, it don't make a difference, good or evil. You just going to do what's right. That's what Adam and Eve was doing until what? They decided to make their own decisions. That's called growing up, becoming an adult. Make your own decision. But remember, every decision you decide, there's a consequence. Be prepared for the consequences of your action. Have at it. And they wasn't prepared, but they still had to pay. Watch this. That God don't give a good hoop. Watch this. Between good and evil. So Adam and Eve did what? They did not have any special feelings or see the differentiation between each other. They was naked, okay? They didn't have no problem with that. Everybody was cool. We all naked, yeah. But they didn't see the differentiation. Again, they under one thought, mindset, God's, and for themselves or what? Nature. They didn't see the difference. They was all one. Again, pay attention. I'm going, like my pastor say, I'm going somewhere. Stay with me. Let me get you there. I'm almost home. Everything was the same, equal, non-dual. That means one. Okay? However, with the egoistic desires and pleasures of flesh led, they said, the serpent, okay, their own egoistic desires, which is inside them, led them to what? Eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. They become what? Eyes open to what? Right and wrong, good and evil. Okay? Maya. They done stepped out from the non-dual to the dual. So now you got to become a decision maker. Now the consequences of your action is no longer guided by God, it's by you. So I just did a lesson. When you serving you can get riches, you can get fame and fortune. But when you serve God, you get immortality. And if you get punished by God, that punishment is forever. So when you obtain this knowledge, immediately it caused them to what? See the differences. Ooh, what's that? I don't know. What you got? See, curiosity got them. And between themselves, they saw the differences. And even within nature, and between themselves, and even with God. Why? Because when God came, what they do? Try to hide from God. Can't do it. He knew. He said, "Oh Lord, they done did it. Yeah, they done did it. They done messed up. So I gotta." As when my son messed up, and he wasn't perfect. So when I punished him, I had to let him know, my man, we can't do this. Okay, this is not acceptable. But every time you do what's not acceptable, this is going to be repercussions. We took care of that early. So God punished them, sent them out on their own. It must be understood by you, and however, that when you use the word, it does not signify that's irreversible or transformation. But like milk and yogurt, once you turn the milk into yogurt, once you chemically change something, you can't take it back. You can't change it. So once you get tainted from milk to yogurt, it's more like liquid. Water can turn to ice and melt the ice to get back to water. This is what the world is, and this is also what human life is about. And temporary, lasting billions of years and what? In human terms, reincarnating and appearing, which is absolutely has assumed the ability to what? To just keep reincarnating by what? Doing the wrong thing, not becoming conscious. And the whole creation story in the Egyptian and the Bible and the Kabbalism, the Jewish mysticism, and even the Upanishads, they are all remarkably the same in the notion of primeval, formless, and in the subsequent names and forms, differentiation and objectification of matter, which arose later. And everybody had a concept about God from their own ignorant perspective. And only when they become what? One with God, that you know the truth and become what? Knowledge of self again. Back to becoming conscious, all knowing. That's what God represents. That's what we're supposed to go back to. For spirit to matter, from matter back to spirit through conscious and righteous living. Hope you got the lesson. I'll be right back with more. Man, I enjoyed that one. Hope you made the point. Hope you got the point. Again, what's consciousness? God. God is all conscious. Are you conscious of who you are? Knowing thyself is just that. My point is get you to know to do just that. What? Know yourself by what? Getting the knowledge and understanding and practicing so you can be your best self. That's God. And in closing, right thinkers, may you all there to be 100. Me, 100 minus that day. So I never know that my right thinkers who now understand what God is, consciousness is God, has passed away. I'll be right back.